When I was a young child, as I'm sure is the case with many others, there were a handful of games that I couldn't beat. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and many more.
While I managed to beat all of these childhood challenges eventually, there was one in specific that's ending eluded me for longer than the rest. Mario Strikers Charged for the Nintendo Wii. Though I can't speak for the series as a whole, having never played the game's prequel, Super Mario Strikers, the second installment in this line of spin-offs is still my favorite sports game out there by far. Next Level Games was not afraid to take the wholesome cast of characters fans have grown accustomed to and toss them into a hellfire of dirty tackles, anger issues, and badass designs. This title's unique, as far from what's expected as possible take on Mario sports games is something that really hasn't seen the light of day recently. Though Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Golf Super Rush have proven that sports titles involving this familiar crew aren't going anywhere, these games just feel painfully uninspired when compared to Mario's time playing soccer. And unless Strikers receives a comeback, I don't think that vulgar yet amazing style will ever return.
There are many reasons that I believe Mario Strikers deserves a reboot. In fact, in my personal experience with the latter title, I can say that every aspect of these games warrants another sequel, though let's start with the most important one, gameplay.
I can sum up Mario Strikers gameplay in 3 words: complex, difficult, and aggressive. The core moveset is complex in the sense that there are many different controls for both attacking, defending, and playing goalie. There are passes and shots, of course, but also lob shots, lob passes, dekes, tackles, and character swaps. Not to mention more advanced moves such as charge passes, skill shots, mega strikes, one-timer shots, and one-timer passes. These many options for scoring as well as maneuvering around the fields provide a very versatile control scheme, and allow for much greater depth than what would be present in a typical game of soccer. Since I mentioned them, the many fields available to choose from in this game are complex in their own rights as well. At least most of them are. The 7 courses from Super Mario Strikers are present in this game, containing no gimmicks other than an electric fence, and are referred to as the classics. The 10 new courses, however, referred to as the arenas, are fairly different from one another, with most having a signature gimmick. The Vice is the standard run-of-the-mill course, complete with both an electric fence and a bloodthirsty crowd, as is the Classroom, though this field is lacking the latter element. Thunder Island, my favorite of the bunch, is pretty hectic. The funkily shaped chunk of rock is located atop a rather stormy section of ocean, and as such, fish, cows, and even entire tractors will come crashing onto the field frequently, forcing any players they happen to collide with off the course and into the water below. With this brewing storm also comes strong winds, which can blow the players around. This is annoying enough as is, but is made even more hazardous due to the lack of an electric fence bordering the stage, making it even easier for players to be swept away. The Sand Tomb is another chaotic course, this one riddled with pits of sand which slow the player's movement, and numerous thwomps which will come crashing down from the sky onto any unfortunate striker beneath them. The Lava Pit is self-explanatory, burning balls of lava come spiraling onto the field, leaving gaping holes of melted rock which must be avoided until they dissipate. The Wastelands is a very disruptive one, not only containing ice physics and wind, but also lightning which will periodically strike near the ball's location. Crystal Canyon has the very frustrating gimmick of knocking out either one or multiple random players from each team, which can include captains. Different players are excluded from each play, which keeps it fresh, but aside from its music, this one still sucks. The Dumps gimmick is slowly moving mud, which reduces traction and pulls the players towards a drainage pipe in the center of the field. And Starship Stadium has both electricity and a tilting field. The final stage is Galactic Stadium, and though it looks special, it's another standard course. With fields out of the way, I mentioned earlier that the gameplay is aggressive, and I'm sure that's already obvious at this point. Tackling is fair game, stage hazards are brutal, and with many items which have become a staple to Super Mario, such as shells and bananas making an appearance, there's no shortage of aggression within this title. It's also worth noting that this game is actually very difficult, regardless of the settings played on. Just remember, there's a thin line between difficult and cheap. a very thin line that this game crosses a lot.
Before I bring back too much trauma of Wario being a cheating bastard, let's move on to some other elements of the game.
Just like the gameplay, the visuals in Mario Strikers Charged are also very grungy and unlike what's expected from a Mario title. The colors are washed out, the lighting is dark, and many of the fields look dirty. While this may seem like criticism, it's quite the contrary, as this style complements the overall tone of the game very well. Even the characters, which are ripped straight out of Mario games, don't feel like Mario characters. Take a look at the game's opening cutscene for a prime example of this. Compared to a game like Mario Super Sluggers, where the cast looks like their usual happy selves, simply excited to play some baseball, in Mario Strikers Charged, everyone's just pissed off. They're also brutal and cruel to each other, and I love it. Just look at some of these characters getting ready to perform a Mega Strike. Not only does this title give these characters some of my favorite personalities they've ever had, but also some of my favorite designs. The gear the characters wear is very unique, appearing somewhat mechanical, and this gave rise to fantastic designs such as one of the most badass renditions of Bowser I've ever seen. I've held off on talking about music for long enough, so let's get to that aspect too. The field themes are great, but nothing I feel the need to talk about. Instead, I want to mention the character themes, as they only help to magnify the personalities that the game's roster is given. Each character, including minor ones such as Hammer Bro and Boo, is given their own unique theme, and it's astounding how fitting they are. Mario's rocking theme is reminiscent of the game's opening theme, representing his main character role. Luigi, despite being Italian, is given Spanish music, which I have to admit works very well. Princess Peach has sparkly techno, Daisy has what sounds somewhat like alternative rock, Yoshi's theme almost reminds me of a game show from the early 2000s, Wario's got bombastic polka, and Waluigi gets a banjo. Donkey Kong, Bowser, and Bowser Jr. get tracks pretty similar to previous themes of theirs, Diddy Kong gets Egyptian music, and Petey Piranha gets Bob Marley. It's strange that the game where the Mario cast is least like their usual selves is the game where they're given some of the most personality, from their character themes all the way to their winning animations.
And that's about the extent of what this game has to offer, although since it is in the title, what could a sequel to Mario Strikers Charged do?
Well, exactly what every sequel to a Mario sports game does, or what every sequel to a Mario sports game should do. The same thing, but better. Throw Mario and his friends back into the world of soccer, add a few new ones like Rosalina or hell even Charging Chuck, and add one defining gimmick that really differentiates the title from its predecessors. Just make sure to keep the same feel the series is known for, because personality is half of what makes this game so great. Oh, and as annoying as it is, keep the AI's bullshit.
While Mario certainly isn't short on spin-offs and never has been, many of the newer titles, good or bad, just can't compare to the foreign feeling of Mario Strikers.
I don't mean to undermine Mario Golf, Sluggers, Kart Party, or any others by saying that. In fact, I enjoy a lot of these titles more than Strikers, but it's so refreshing to see such an interesting take on the Mario world. Many newer spin-offs play it safe by being designed around the very recognizable style we all know, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I'd love to see more titles stray from the comfort zone. And what better way for Nintendo to accomplish that than with a series that's already known for doing so, especially with the support from fans being as strong as it is. We even got Mario Strikers trending on Twitter around a week before this video released, and well, that actually doesn't mean too much, but still. This duo of games is the perfect opportunity for a magnificent trilogy, and if we don't get a third, with the direction Nintendo's recently been taking, we may never see a spin-off of the Mario cast seen from such a different perspective again. Thank you all so much for watching.